Swalwell. Oh, as long as we're talking about California, you remember this guy, you know, the one that had the thing with Fang Fang, Eric Swalwell. Well, he's in a little bit of trouble because according to Bill Pulte, who's head of FHA, forgive me, the Federal Housing, FHFA. I knew I'd get it eventually. Anyway, Pulte is like, okay, you can't have your primary home in two places, right? So they're looking at him for what they're calling is an alleged mortgage fraud situation. Don't forget they were looking at Adam Schiff for this. They have looked quite extensively at Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve for this. And of course, our favorite, Tishy Baby, Letitia James. She's even worse. Like, I mean, she's got multiple things going on. I can't even get started on that. That's a whole show onto itself, of which we've done many. Anyway, Swalwell is in a lot of trouble.
That he claimed as his primary residence. He didn't waste any time hitting back, writing in a statement, as the most vocal critic of Donald Trump over the last decade and as the only person still has a surviving lawsuit against him. The only thing I'm surprised about is that it took him this long to come after me. I refuse to live in fear in what was once the freest country in the world.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, if you did what they're alleging, you ought to be able to just face that, right? Like, who cares? Like, if you did what they're alleging, I understand you'd be concerned and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But if you didn't do it, then you really don't have that much to worry about, do you, Eric Swalwell? Here's what I want to know. I want to know, did Fang Fang co-sign? Because then we got something really good. You remember Fang Fang? Apparently she was a Chinese spy who just happened to be working for one Eric Swalwell and allegedly was more than just working. We'll leave it at that. Okay, so let's go to his response. Oh, I'm innocent. Of course I'm innocent. Yeah, right. We'll wait and see.
The context here is important to bring up. Just from 48 hours ago, a report in which Fannie Mae watchdogs were removed from their jobs who had been probing to see whether Trump appointee Bill Pulte had improperly obtained mortgage records of key Democratic officials, including New York Attorney General Letitia James, according to people familiar with the matter. Fannie's Ethics and Investigations Group had received internal complaints alleging senior officials had improperly directed staff to access the mortgage documents of James and others, according to the people. It was 2 months ago, I recall, when Bill Pulte, who is the head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, made his first referrals as it pertained to Adam Schiff and Letitia James to the Department of Justice. That is what, to our understanding, has taken place today. Could you be specific when, as we wait to see if the Department of Justice seeks to take this up in a panel of grand jury, when folks ask you about the specific allegations of a double primary residence, what do you say about your situation?
Yeah, I only have one mortgage and a residence in California, and I spend my time every week between California and Washington, D.C. This is, again, just Donald Trump doing everything he can to target his enemies. In our lawsuit, it's not lost on me that we've begun to depose members of the administration. And so you can connect the dots there if you will. But this is why being in the majority also matters, because these guys think that they can do this because they're invincible and there are no consequences. And a year from now, we are going to win the majority. And that's what we learned last Tuesday when California voters stood up against Donald Trump. And when we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room, because they're going to be.
You know what I think is so sad about this? What I think is so sad, I mean, California is a mess, right? So they get their gerrymandering that is, by the DOJ's estimate, to be totally illegal. And just as a layperson and not as an attorney myself, it does seem rather illegal when you're trying to district by race. But I would say California's a mess. You've got Gavin Newsom, who's a mess. You've got Swalwell, who's always been one big hot mess. Okay, just ask Fang Fang. And you've got now him promising that if they take back the majority in the House, they're going to turn around and ratchet up the subpoenas and this, that, and the other. I mean, what we need to do, honestly, is to get away from all this, right? We need to get away from what went down with Russia. I want to know, like, who started it. That's part of the issue. Was this all going back to Obama? I mean, you look at Brennan right now, and he's allegedly about to be indicted. You've got Comer and Jim Jordan promising not just James Comey's indictment, but Brennan as well. I want to show you. Here they are speaking with Hannity just the other night.
Your thoughts on Mr. Higher Honor, Jim Jordan?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not the only one, Sean. I mean, we just referred John Brennan 3 weeks ago because we believe he definitely lied to Congress when he told us that he wasn't involved with the dossier and didn't want it included in the intelligence community assessment. Only problem is, Tulsi Gabbard declassified and released a report from the House Intelligence Committee, which said just the opposite, said he was involved, did want it in. In fact, he was approached by a CIA official who said, Mr. Brennan, this dossier doesn't hold up. We shouldn't include it. Brennan's response was, yeah, but doesn't it ring true? Showing his motivation, his motive was to just go after President Trump, even though the evidence wasn't there. So not only Comey, but Brennan, and frankly, we're looking into Jack Smith and his team because two of his deputies, who we've already deposed, took the Fifth Amendment 71 and 73 times respectively to some basic questions. And so we're working on getting the documents from Cash and from Pam Bondi at the Justice Department. So we're ready for the deposition when we bring Jack Smith in real soon.
All right.
Wow. Okay. So Jack Smith's going in there. I mean, I hear what you guys are saying, 200 watt, making the point, like, isn't it kind of a problem when you're trying to threaten the person that's doing the investigation? And that's kind of what we were hearing, of course, from Eric Swalwell just moments ago. But this is big. I mean, so, you know, you got Pulte in there. I don't think Pulte's going to, like, let me just say, like, Eric, if you have an apartment in California that's just an apartment that you rent, and then you have your main home in DC area, I would just say, like, it's a little confusing, right? Only because I would think that your main home should actually be in the state that you represent. So that could become an issue, maybe. Or let's just assume that okay, you know, it seems to be both. Do you think Pulte's just going to say, okay, that apartment is actually a mortgage? Like, I'm kind of thinking Pulte probably has two mortgages, both of which allegedly, just like Schiff, allegedly, are in two locations, both as primary. And you can't do it. Like, you just can't do it. It's surreal, like, what has happened. But such is the world we live in, where, you know, the head of the CIA doesn't do evidence, just intelligence.
Did you find direct evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Putin in Moscow while you were there?
Mr. Rooney, I never was an FBI agent. I never was a prosecutor, so I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence throughout the course of my career. As an intelligence professional, what we try to do is...
Anyway, you get the picture. So we're still living with the remnants of what was. And I tell you this as someone who mainly used to report on the economy, right? All of a sudden, I'm thrust into this in 2016 because I'm looking at this dossier saying, gee, this really doesn't add up, right? And sure enough, it didn't. None of it added up. And yet they ran with this hoax. And now they're trying to run with a new one. This Epstein stuff, I'm like, the Epstein story to nowhere. I mean, to the point where you get the Democrat Party putting crapola out like this. Documents show Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. It's like, guys, Epstein was in prison and Donald Trump was in the White House. So I don't think they were partying, on the Lolita Express, okay? Like, I'm sorry, like, at some point, like, push comes to shove and you're just off in Never Never Land and you've completely lost the entire narrative, which is why you lost the election and which is why I hope you're going to lose it again in 2024. I mean, one of the problems is, how's the economy going to be doing? Look, I mean, you're looking at crypto that's been a little dicey, right? Like, full disclosure, I still like it. I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. We put out a note about opportunity and how you should seize opportunities. Actually, just yesterday, sure enough, NASDAQ closing up higher today. But I encourage you to go take a look at my company, 76 Research. Let me put this up, which is a research company, financial research. And there's no, we don't get any kickbacks from anybody. There's just, all this is what we think, myself and a longtime friend, Rob Horton, who spent 20 years on Wall Street. And the two of us kind of have a pretty, I'd like to say very solid view of the world. And we share that with you in 76 Research. And we encourage people to invest for the long run. It's really, really important. I can't say that enough. Somebody in the chat was just saying, Trish, you got to encourage more kids to do this. And I agree, because, hey, the younger you are, the better. And I always say, like, what you see, you will not miss. So, even if it's just $5 a week that you can somehow put into an S&P 500 fund, believe me, you will thank yourself later. Check out 76 Research. We have a channel as well on YouTube. I encourage you guys to do that. Thank you for being here, and thank you for helping to make the Trish Regan channel, wow, what it is, as we look at growing, coming up on 1.2 million subs. Isn't it amazing? So I'm going to be with you over the weekend. I'm going to continue following this story and this nonsense trail that they're trying to feed everyone. Like I said, Rachel Maddow is salivating at the bit. She can't wait to get on the air for her one show a week on Mondays. That'll be funny. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Good to see you as well. Okay, we will regroup live on Monday. If not tomorrow, make sure you hit the bell so you know when I'm live, and say that you want to get all the alerts, because otherwise you may not get the live alerts. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to see you soon.